Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little personal. I wanted to share 5 pieces of advice I got from therapy that genuinely changed the way I move through life. I've been in therapy for 2 years. These aren't just quotes. They're things I come back to again and again, especially when I'm struggling. So if you're in a season where things feel heavy or confusing, maybe something here will resonate with you too. 1. You don't have to earn rest. For the longest time, I tied my worth to productivity. If I wasn't checking something off a list, I felt guilty, lazy, behind. I remember telling my therapist, "I'll rest when I finish everything." You just looked at me and said, "You're not a machine. You're a person. You don't earn rest. You need it, just because you exist." That changed how I saw everything. Now, when I feel tired, I try to listen, not push through. Because burnout doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been strong for too long without a break. Some of my most creative, meaningful ideas came after rest, not before. 2. Not every thought is true. This one was a wake-up call. I have an anxious brain, and sometimes my thoughts spiral. You messed up. Everyone noticed. They probably don't like you anymore. Before therapy, I used to believe every thought I had. But my therapist taught me something called thought diffusion. It's the idea that your thoughts are like clouds. They float in, they float out. You don't have to latch onto every one. Now, when I have an anxious thought, I pause and say, "That's a thought, not a fact." It helps me come back to the moment instead of spiraling into a story that probably isn't even true. You can disappoint others and still be a good person. This one took time and a lot of uncomfortable practice. I grew up thinking that being kind meant saying yes, being flexible, always showing up. But I started feeling exhausted and a little resentful. One session, I said, "I don't want to upset anyone." And my therapist said, "But what if you're upsetting yourself by always pleasing others?" Now, I understand that boundaries are not rejection, they're clarity. And yes, sometimes people get disappointed, but I've learned that disappointing someone occasionally is better than constantly abandoning myself. Your feelings make sense, even if your story is messy. There was a time I kept minimizing my own emotions. I'd say things like, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "Other people have it worse." But I remember crying in a session once and apologizing for it. My therapist just looked at me and said, "You don't have to justify your pain. Your feelings are valid because they're yours." That moment gave me so much permission to be sad, even if I didn't have a perfect reason. Permission to grieve things others might not understand. Because the truth is, our bodies remember, even when our minds don't have a neat narrative. Your emotions always come from somewhere. They deserve compassion, not comparison. Healing isn't linear. This one's been the hardest to accept. Some days I feel like I've grown so much, like I've finally moved on from something. And then one random afternoon, I'm triggered, crying, spinning in the same thoughts. It used to feel like failure. But my therapist said, progress isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. You might come back to the same place, but you're seeing it from a higher level each time. That changed how I saw healing. Now, I try to notice the little things, the pause before I react, the boundary I actually kept, the moment I gave myself grace. Those are wins too. So, those are 5 things therapy taught me, and honestly, I'm still learning them every day. If any of these spoke to you, I'd love to know in the comments. Or feel free to share the advice that changed your life. I'm always curious about the quiet wisdom we collect. Thanks for being here. Take care of your mind. Be kind to yourself today. See you in the next one.